Hello students, welcome to the online session for the subject of industrial safety. This subject of industrial safety is mainly for the students of civil engineering, particularly structural engineering, and for the student of mechanical engineering. Here we are going to discuss the each and every topic regarding the industrial safety. Whatever the topics that are given in the G2 syllabus of the subject of industrial safety will be discussed in this virtual session. We will be having a brief discussion on each and every topic. We will be discussing the practical application of this subject of industrial safety in our session also. So let's start with our session. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Hello students, welcome to the online session for the subject of industrial safety. Today our topic is wear and corrosion and then prevention methods. We have already completed the wear topic of this chapter. We have started the corrosion topic of this chapter. We are about to complete the topic of the corrosion from this chapter. This is chapter number 2 according to our GTU syllabus. So we have already started the corrosion. We have discussed different type of corrosion. We have defined the corrosion. Now we are in the topic of the method of the prevention of the corrosion. So let's start with today's session. So basically the outline of this session is prevention of the corrosion. Different methods are there for the prevention of the corrosion. In the previous session, we have already started this topic. We have discussed many of the methods that are reducing the intensity of the corrosion. There are different methods that we will be discussing in this session. So let's start with the list of the methods that we are going to discuss today. So basically we are going to discuss with the cathodic protection method. We are going to discuss the anode protection method. We are going to discuss the environmental measures. We are going to discuss the corrosion inhibitors. We are going to discuss the paint and the animal methods for the prevention of the corrosion. We are going to discuss the passivation method. So these are all the list of the methods that we are going to discuss in this session. So let's start with our first method of the today's session. So first method here, you can see the figure below behind me. That is the cathode protection method. The name only suggests that we are protecting the cathode. We all know that in a galvanic cell, there is one anode and one cathode. So in this process, we are creating a condition in such a way that the cathode will be protected and the anode will be the sacrificing member. So we are sacrificing the anode and we are protecting the cathode. So here we can say that is the red column member is the anode which is getting corroded. So arrangement is being done accordingly. Going towards the next figure here, also we can say that the anode has got corroded. We can see that the anode material has got corroded. The reduction in the surface area has been taken place. How? Let's discuss. We are mainly providing the protection to the cathode. Cathode is being protected by making the manganese, aluminum or zinc in connection with each other. We are using the zinc, aluminum and the magnesium as an anode. And it is being connected to the metals like iron that is being easily corroded. So here, in such kind of condition, iron will be our cathode. That iron we have to protect from the corrosion. And at the same time, out of three materials, like for example, out of manganese, aluminum and zinc, whatever we are using, that will be the anode. So when the arrangement is being connected to an electric current, means when such kind of arrangement is there and whenever the electric current is passed to such kind of arrangement, then we can see over here that the positive current will be passed towards the cathode, and as a result of this, the cathode will be protected from the corrosion, and ultimately the thing that will happen will be the corrosion at the anode. So this is how the working of the cathode protection is taking place. Similar kind of protection is being used for the protection of the pipes that is being laid underground. Here we have a pipe that is being connected to an electric current, and at the same time we also have used the manganese rod that will be acting as an anode. So whenever the current is being passed to such kind of cell, kind of arrangement, then at that time the manganese rod will get corroded. We can see over here that there are the manganese rod that is being placed on the other side of a pipe, and as a result of this, positive electric current will be passed towards the pipe, and this current will protect the pipe from the corrosion, and ultimately the manganese rod will get corroded and the corrosion at the pipe will be prevented. Similar kind of arrangement is used for the prevention of the corrosion in boilers also. Similar kind of arrangement are being made. The tanks are also being protected by such kind of arrangement only. Cathode protection method is very tedious method. It requires a high skill from a person, and as a result of this, it is not a work for an ordinary person. For doing such kind of protection, a high skilled person is being required. A person having the proper knowledge of this is required. So it is not easy for each and every one to do such kind of arrangement. It is also very costly, and by this, it is not being generally used. So this is why it is not being used daily or regularly, but it is very helpful for the protection of the metal from the corrosion. So this is how the working of the cathodic protection take place. So these are the things that I have discussed, that the cathode is being protected. It is protected at the cost of anode. The anode is being getting corroded, and it is the mainly the sacrificial member. It is the sacrificial member. It's anode only the sacrifice, and whenever the current pass through the overall arrangement of the cell, then positive current will be passed to the cathode, and ultimately the cathode will be protected. Moving towards the further discussion, that we have an example of a magnesium that is being connected to the ferrous material. So this magnesium rod will become an anode, like what we have discussed in the first figure, that magnesium is acting as an anode, and the ferrous material will get protected, and ultimately the member that has got corrosion will be the anode, that is the mag. This whole process will mainly takes place when the electric current is being passed through it. So this is how the corrosion protection is mainly taking place in actual, and this is the principle of the cathodic protection, that one will be the anode and another will be the cathode. Positive current will be passed towards the cathode, and the anode will be the sacrificial member. So this is how the working used to takes place in the cathodic protection. Now moving towards the next type of protection, that is the anodic protection. Here mainly we are seeing that from the name only it suggests that the anode is being protected, and in previous type of method the cathode is being protected. So similarly the anode is being protected. Here we are using a phosphate layer. A phosphate layer is being used so that the protection of the anode can takes place. How? Let's see. Mainly the phosphate layer is being applied to the metal like iron or magnesium and zinc, and mainly they are applied by the method of dipping it or painting it. Mainly we can say that a proper phosphoric acid layer is being prepared and it is being applied on the surface of the metal. It is being allowed for 5 minutes to get settled, to get hardened, and after that the metal on which the phosphate layer is being provided is properly washed, and after that whenever it comes to the environment, the phosphate layer will be the layer that will get corroded, and ultimately the iron member or the other metal which is required to be protected will be protected. Let's discuss the step. In first step the bordering is being done. Mainly we are applying the layer of paint or varnishes on the outer surface of the metal that is being required to be protected. In the first step we are providing a bordering. bordering is being done. And here we are applying the paint on the outer surface so that the surface will be clean and we can make a cover for the protection from the corrosion. And at the next step, we are dipping that metal into the phosphatic layer. Means in a phosphoric acid or a phosphate solution, we are dipping that metallic rod which was previously colored. And after that, the galvanization of that rod is taking place by just application of the zinc on the outer surface of the metallic rod. And in this way, the anodic protection is being done. And as a result of this, the corrosion on the metal will be prevented. This is how anodic protection is taking place. Moving towards the next type of method, that is the environmental measures. We all know that a metal is being exposed to the environment, and whatever the component that are present in the atmosphere is causing the corrosion. In environment, the gases are being found. In environment, the toxic gases or other components are being found. Because of the reaction of that metal to the environmental gases or environmental components, the corrosion used to take place. So by taking certain control on the environment, then we can reduce the occurrence of the corrosion on the metal. So this is how the environmental measures is helpful. By controlling the environmental measures, it is helpful. So this is how by controlling the environmental measures, it is helpful to protect the metal from the corrosion. There are certain components in environment. For example, by controlling the pH, by controlling the velocity of the wind, by providing the aeration, by providing the control on the atmosphere, by control on the temperature. By doing this kind of control towards the environment, we can have a control on the corrosion of the metal. Let's have an example. In a boiler, we are using a softeners, and as a result of this, the hardness will be controlled, the alkalinity will be controlled, and the oxygen level will be controlled. And as a result of this, the corrosion in the boilers can be controlled and it can be prevented. So this is an example for the environmental measures of the control of the metal or the material. So moving towards the next type of controlling, corrosion controlling, that is the corrosion inhibitors. We have certain inhibitors which surpasses the chemical reaction, and by doing so, the occurrence of the corrosion can be controlled. So we have an corrosion resistance inhibitors. For example, we can say that we have the cathode inhibitors. For example, like organic sulfides and amides. When they are mixed into the metals, or when we can say that we are applying the organic sulfides and the amides to the metal, then we can say that the cathode polarization is being controlled. And by doing so, the corrosion occurrence can be reduced. And that is why this cathode polarization, because of this only, the organic sulfides and the amides are termed as the cathodic inhibitors. Moving towards the further discussion on the corrosion inhibitors, we also have the anode inhibitors. For example, silicates, phosphates and the chromates are the anode inhibitors. And by adding these inhibitors into the acid, steam and the water, means by adding this to the factors that are causing the corrosion, chemical reaction will be slowed down. And as a result of this, metal will not get corroded. The material or the metal that is being exposed to the environment will not corroded once we are adding these anode inhibitors into the environment. For example, steam, gas and the acid and the water. By doing so, the corrosion can be controlled. Further discussing these corrosion inhibitors, mainly we have discussed earlier also that this mainly surpasses the electrochemical process, and by doing so, the corrosion can be reduced. Mainly, while working with such kind of inhibitors, a protective film is developed on the surrounding of the material or the metal, which is required to be protected. And by doing so, the corrosion will be protected. So this is how the corrosion inhibitors is taking place. Further discussing the corrosion inhibitors, mainly this corrosion inhibitors layers is being applied to the outer surface with the help of dispersion technique. With the help of this dispersion technique, we are applying the corrosion inhibitors layers on the outer surface. And these corrosion inhibitors are being applied on the via process only. And that is why it is known as a passivation agent. Means it passivates the activity of the corrosion. So moving towards the next method, here the animation behind me suggests that the next thing, that is the painting and the animals. Painting and animals are providing a protecting layer on the outer surface of the metal, and by doing so the ingress of the moisture, the water from the environment will be controlled, and as a result of this the corrosion will not take place. So mainly before application of the paints and animals, the first of all we need to clean the surface of the metal. The proper cleaning of the metal should be done, and after that only the paint should be done. Means either the varnish is on the paints, because there should not be any kind of an impurity on the outer surface of the metal, and once it is being found, then it is required to be rectified at an early age only, because it can cause a dangerous chemical reaction, and by this the occurrence of the corrosion will be increased. So it is necessary that if the impurities are being found on the outer surface of the metal at an early age, then at that time only the prevention of the metal should be done. We have the metallic paints, which is providing a layer on the outer surface so that the direct contact of the atmosphere of the metal will be avoided, and by doing so the corrosion will not take place. The age of the material or the equipment will be increased by the application of this metallic paint. In market many kind of metallic paints are being applied, and that will prevent the occurrence of the corrosion on the equipment, or we can say that any kind of a surface. We also have the varnishes that is being also provided so that certain kind of rusting don't used to take place. In radiators and the boilers, the anti-rusting agents are being applied so that the corrosion will not take place in them. So these are all the things which is mainly taking place. Mainly, I discussed previously also that the moisture and oxygen's entry will be prevented by the application of the paint and the animals. Moving towards the last type of method for the prevention of the corrosion, that is the passivation. Means here a light coat of the protective layer is being applied on the outer surface, and by this a barrier is being created. A barrier is being created between the external agent that are causing the corrosion and the metallic surface, that is metal on which the chances of the occurrence of the corrosion is there. So by formation of this layer, the pH will be controlled, the temperature will be controlled, and surrounding chemical composition will be controlled, and by doing so the chemical process will get passivated, and we can say that the corrosion can be prevented, and its occurrence intensity can also be reduced. We have an example of the Statue of the Liberty, where the passivating agent is being applied, and there a blue-green patina has been formed, actually protects the copper underneath. And that is how the passivation is being controlled. So these are all the methods for the prevention of the corrosion on the objects, equipments, and other surface. By application of these methods, practically we can reduce the occurrence of the corrosion on the metallic surface and any kind of a surface. So here we are ending our session. Thank you. So here we are ending our session. Hope you have liked the session. We have discussed each and every topic in brief and also in detail. We have discussed each and every topic's practical application also. So thank you for attending the session, and if you have any kind of a doubt, if you have any kind of a query, then you can send me your doubts and queries in mail. My mail is in my YouTube channel. Do check into my YouTube channel, like it, share it, and again, thank you for attending this session. See you in the next session. Thank you.